Thank you, thank you.
What have you been doing?
I show you my secret
Okay,
place.
Begin your senior living journey with us. Let's live a happier, healthier life together.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar Urban Farming. Thank you for spending some time with us today. My name is Christina and I'm going to be your host. Silver Circle by Komune Wellness is an ongoing webinar series with curated sessions conducted and supported by our community partners as well as other industry experts. This month, we explore a range of topics and discussions that can help us gain and apply knowledge for a better future. Like with our previous sessions, we hope to connect with seniors to create a community that engages in current topics of physical and social well-being. So if you're in post-retirement or just retiring or even planning for retirement, we'd like for you to join the conversation. Stick with us today and take part in the Q&A to score some prizes from Commune Living Bangsa South. All you have to do is fill up the post-event form at the end of the webinar and perhaps contribute a couple of questions to our Q&A session after. Before we kick off our discussions today, I would like to take this time to introduce to you Commune Living and Wellness, the largest integrated co-living and wellness hub in Southeast Asia. A co-living hotel, a senior care and wellness hub all under one roof. We envision this to be the place for seniors to be living it up as they embark on their next chapter. Nestled next to a 99-acre park with close to 900 service suites, Commune Living and Wellness is focused on creating a holistic environment for seniors where care and wellness facilities and services are readily accessible, fuss-free. Community is at the core of this development, and in line with its community efforts, Commune Wellness will be organizing a host of activities in collaboration with our senior care partners, such as one like today, where we will see activities that relate to fitness workouts, leisure activities, talks and courses, workshops and group sessions, as well as outings and excursions. Basically, elders will be able to make meaningful connections and all-rounded fun. So one will be able to maintain somewhat of an active lifestyle while retaining their independence. We are opening our doors next year. And if you have any questions or if you would like to get in touch with us, our details are up on the screen right now, along with a QR code for you to scan on your mobile device. I'll leave that up there for a few more seconds for you to get that in. Great, moving on. So today we are joined by Michael Simon from Homegrown Farms, a media professional by day, but chief farming officer all day round. Michael and his family started the business of homegrown produce to inspire their friends and family to eat organically and live a sustainable life. What started as a passion project to eat healthy, unprocessed organic produce became an entrepreneurial opportunity, and before they knew it, they were selling harvests to family and friends. The farm is located in Semenye, right in the Broga Valley, surrounded by the famous Broga Hills. UOA has an ongoing collaboration with Homegrown Farms. They will be setting up our rooftop farm at Komune Living and Wellness, where long-stay guests can get involved with urban farming. At present, they also have an existing rooftop aquaponics farm in Nexus, Bangsa South. They will also be setting up an urban farm similar to what you will be seeing later at another UOA development in the city center. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Zoom Q&A chat box. We will try to address them in between sessions or at the end of the presentation. So let's turn the time over to Michael and Ivy.
No, it's over to you. Live.
Am I live?
Yep.
Hi
you're live,
guys.
Michael.
Okay, I was supposed to be a video to be played first before I come on live. But
Want me to do
no
that?
problem.
I can go ahead.
It's okay. Let me just introduce. Hi, welcome to Homegrown Farms. My name is Michael, and on camera today is my wife Ivy. And we've got a great lineup for you. It's not just learning how to compost. It's not just learning how to make a soil mix or those boring stuff. But we want to take you on a virtual tour on our farm here in Semenye. But before that, let me give you a sneak preview of what we're all about. You can play the video now, Christina.
All right.
Audio is bad, huh? Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Welcome back. So that's a bit about what we do here in Homegrown Farms. If you saw the video, we have a mixture of soil-based farming and aquaponics, vertical aquaponics. So I'm here today standing right next to our system here. This is a vertical aquaponics system. And a system like this sits over 200 square feet only. It's about 9 feet high. And guess what? It yields about 100 to 120 kilos of greens every month, every 30 days. So we have actually perfected the art of vertical aquaponics over a small space to give you the highest yield. And this is what we have. This is an experiment. This is an experimentation unit. So what we do here is we grow a multitude of crops. If you can see that this is lowland lettuce. It's slightly old. I put it on the system to actually see how long it can grow and what's the lifespan of lettuce on our system. This is an experimental system. So for those of you who don't know what aquaponics is where we use fish. The water from the fish is pumped up onto these towers. And bacteria converts the ammonia from the fish water into nitrates, which is nitrogen. And on an aquaponic system, we can actually grow a whole multitude of crops. We've grown about 10 crops on this system alone. And as you can see, we're experimenting with different kinds of lettuce. This is romaine. This is a lowland lettuce. We've got Italian parsley as well. And we've got grow beds here as well. You wouldn't believe it. We harvested 2 squash from this grow bed here. We're growing pineapples on this grow bed. This grow bed is just made up of clay balls. It's just clay balls, no soil at all. And we've got Okinawan spinach.
Let's remove the
Oops. Is everything okay, Michael?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
All right, okay. Sorry. All right, so what we do in an aquaponic system is just to feed the fish and harvest the vegetables. So they provide the nutrients for this entire little farm we have here aquaponically. And you can grow a whole range of crops. We've got cabbage growing here. We've got some ornamental plants. We've got spinach. We've got pineapples. We had a squash plant on here as well. So now we move on to the next system. But before that, let me show you that we've got grapes growing on Homegrown Farms. So who knows, huh? Homegrown wine after this. So this is our other system. This is a system which we created during the first MCO. This is more of a mixed system. It's a long system. I'll show you where we're growing afterwards, but this is the fish tank. We've got jade perch here, and we've got tilapia. And we've got some media beds which are growing some wild ferns. So this system actually feeds this growing area here. So if you can look at it from a distance, it has become like a grow wall for us. And guess what? This is it is an edible local spinach. This one can be eaten. So you just pluck off the shoots and you can have a really good, decent stir fry from this, but it also doubles up as a green wall. So from that tank, it feeds this entire, there are about close to 40 pipes here, where we grow different crops as well. There's Brazilian spinach here. We've got Okinawan spinach as well. And planting aquaponically, growing aquaponically, is one of the most sustainable ways of farming. Actually, it just uses it uses less than 5% of the regular water which you use for conventional farming, and you grow this kind of crops, and it grows vertically. So over a small square foot or small space, you can grow quite a bit compared to soil-based farming. So that's part of the aquaponic system. We've got some more. As we walk into the farm, this is our Ulam Raja bed. There are some people who love ulam raja, and it actually grows wild, and it seeds itself. It's a perennial plant, and it grows up, it flowers, and the flowers produce the seeds, and it seeds itself. This one has been seeding itself for the past 5 times, 6 times. I'll take you on to our next aquaponics system. This is a bit of Okinawan spinach as well. This is a aquaponic system as well, but guess what we're doing? We are actually growing rice here. I'll show you the harvest a bit later. So over this small square foot here, it's about 5 by 8. We grow about 3 kilos we harvest about 3 kilos of rice every 85 days. So over a period of a year, we can actually grow rice 4 times. And it's powered by fish as well. It's a bit dark. We rear catfish in here. So the catfish actually powers the rice plantation we have here. Moving on. This is our mint planter. This is apple mint, which grows vertically as well. And what we've been doing here for the past 1 year is just harvesting mint. We just cut it at the base and it just grows back again. So it sends all these thick runners out, but we manage to get harvest every week. We cut it at the base and it just grows back again. We cut it at the base and it grows back again. This is a fantastic plant to grow vertically as well, and the smell is insane. So moving on, here's our new rice plot we just planted. This also has catfish inside. We just harvested some rice here on this unit. So we just kept a corner of what rice looks like once it's mature. So this is the rice which we get. It's a long grain. It's a kind of a basmati rice. And we just kept this corner so you guys can see that we actually grow rice on the systems. There's no pesticides, no insecticides. The entire plant is powered by nutrients from the fish. And we can actually replant the same day we harvest. We harvested it a couple of days ago, and this has been just replanted. Let me show you the harvest. So this was the harvest we got. From one small patch like that, we got about 4 kilos of long grain basmati rice. So it's not just growing vegetables on aquaponic systems. We can actually grow rice, all the staples which is needed here. And it's not bad for such a small space for you to actually grow rice. Just imagine if we had multiples of those systems. We'll be able to feed a family easily. Let me show you the big system, or let me show you the balcony system which we created for balconies in Malaysia. So this is our balcony system. It can grow enough vegetables for a small family. It sits on your balcony. It's about 3 by 5 and about 8 feet high. You have your fish, which is powering the system. We're just growing Brazilian spinach. On this side of the system, we've got your staples like pandan. We had serai initially, but it's taken off the system. So this have been growing for quite a number of years, actually. If you come over to this side, you can see it's a hybrid system. At this moment, it's just growing Brazilian spinach. We've got some herbs growing on soil, this one, because it's a sub-irrigated planter. So we have experimented with sub-irrigation as well on this aquaponics using soil. You got your down kusum. You got your pagaga. And these are strawberries, strawberry plants, which are growing here as well. So this sits perfectly on one of your balconies. If you're in an apartment building, if you're in an apartment building and you see you don't have space to grow vegetables, well, we've proven you wrong. You can actually have a system like this, growing your herbs, growing your vegetables, growing your fruits, small fruits. So it's perfectly doable on a small balcony in an apartment building. This is our big commercial aquaponic system which we designed. This one, the first few rows here have been just replanted because we harvested for last week's deliveries. So this is a big system which has a multitude of crops as well. And this is how we grow our crops. This is watercress being grown here right now. You can see that we just seeded some pak choy here.
My voice, you need to speak up.
We just seeded some pak choy here. This is our lowland lettuce, which has just sprung up. And if you really look at it, it's just clay pebbles. Huh? There's no soil here. So what we do is when the plants are big enough, we pull them out by the stem, and that goes into that system there. So here we can see that we have a lot of chives. Chives grow really tremendously here as well. We cut it at the base and it grows back again. We cut it at the base. This one has been growing for the past 5 years on this system. And these are chive flowers, which are prized for those top restaurants. This is the fish tank, which powers this system.
Hey, Michael.
Yep.
So I thought maybe I could bring up some of the questions from the audience. So I think
Sure.
a lot of people have been asking, what is the effect of using the different kinds of fish for the aquaponic system?
We find that different fish have different eating patterns. Tilapia will eat any time of the day. So if you have fruiting crops or you have crops which require more nutrients, it's best to have tilapia because they eat 5 times a day and they can manage that amount of food. But for certain other systems like the leafy greens, they don't require so much nutrients. So we use jade perch, which doesn't eat that much. For rice, we use catfish because it matures together with the rice. We get fingerlings that small. And when the rice is mature, those fingerlings have grown to plate size. So we can harvest the fish and we can harvest the rice as well. For the normal systems, I like to use tilapia because it's an easy fish. It's quite a forgiving fish. So if we have fluctuations in pH and stuff like that, it's still forgiving. So it's an easy and a hardy fish to actually keep. Jade perch takes about a year to mature. And tilapia takes 6 months to mature. Catfish takes 3 months to mature. So it's all about the maturity, their, how much they can eat, how much they can process it. So that's basically it.
Okay. So you can't just use any type of random fish. It has to be sort of corresponding to the crop that you're trying to grow.
That's pretty much it. But in certain cases, we have experimented with koi as well. Koi does well on aquaponic system. If you don't eat fish and you want something ornamental and something beautiful, we've done stuff with koi, but aquaponically as well.
Okay.
So I tell you what, why don't you play the vertical aquaponics video now?
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty much the aquaponics, the vertical aquaponics, which we are now pioneering to sit on top of rooftops in the city. So we can bring the farms, we can decentralize farms, we can bring them to the city nowadays. So here we have our soil beds, and we also grow an immense range of crops on the soil beds. For aquaponics, pests are very much reduced because it's taken off the ground. There's no soil involved in aquaponics farming, and because it's off ground and it's vertical, there's a lower incidence of pests. But when it comes to soil-based farming, we actually encounter a lot of pests. But since we're an organic farm, we treat them with organic means like neem oil. We have a mixture of garlic and chili and onion and neem, which we mix together, and it sprays, and it seems to do the trick for the moment for now. But being an organic farmer is actually a big challenge because your main challenge is nature, and sometimes if the crops are actually infested with pests, we just leave that and then we move on to a different batch. So we give some to the to nature, and we actually harvest some. Come, let me show you around. This is our okra or lady's fingers, and interspersed with red spinach. This is made from this is grown on our own compost, which we create on our farm. So it's a rotational basis. We grow crops here. So once we grow spinach here, the next, after we harvest it, we grow a different crop. We can't grow the same crop because it weakens it's depleted the soil of certain nutrients. So we need to build the soil again. But what we do is just put on a layer of compost, our own compost, and we grow the next crop. Yep. So this is our other crop of lady's fingers we have here. This is a bed we are working on right now. We just harvested, what was this? This was sawi. We just harvested sawi here. So it's being rotated now, and the next crop will probably be a vining crop, maybe beans. Over here, we have cucumbers. This is our cucumber patch. We can harvest, once they start producing cucumbers, we will harvest cucumbers for about 1 month. And then this bed is turned around for a different crop. We've got bitter gourd over here. So this is one of the ways for us to manage pests, is to wrap it up in brown paper. So we leave some out for the pests. Let me show you. This has been taken over by pests. You can see a bit of yellowing. So some we leave for the pest, and some we have to harvest. So this has been taken over by an insect, but this is still okay to go. So that's the challenge of organic farming.
What other challenges have you encountered aside from the pest infestation?
It's pretty much just pests, actually. There's not much wildlife here. I mean, initially when we was first starting building this place, there were wild boars, but once we started developing this area, no more wild boars. So I guess it's just managing the pests. It's pest management, not pest eradication for organic farming. It's how you manage pests and how you actually, try to find that balance so you get a yield, and the pests are also happy in that sense. So this is our kangkong. If you had any store-bought or market bought kangkong. It's really, we keep it very tender. This is due for.
Oh no, Michael, we've lost your audio again. Michael?
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, better now. Sorry. Would you mind
Okay, sorry.
repeating?
Can you hear us clearly?
Yep, all good now.
Great. Okay. It just goes in and out. So just
Yeah.
tell us and then we'll repeat what we said.
All right, thank you.
Okay, this is a kind of pea, a local variety. You don't really get this much in the supermarkets, but in some of your local markets, you might be able to get it. It's nice, stir fried.
Where's the jungle fowl? They've gone off. Oh, there they are.
Okay,
there.
those are jungle fowl.
Can you see
actually.
them?
Can you see the jungle fowl?
Where are
Yeah.
these guys?
Yeah.
There they are.
So this were
A gift.
given to us by a friend of ours, and they seem to be loving the environment here actually.
See, there are 4 of them, all sisters.
Adorable. What did they
So
feed
this
on?
is our bean patch. These are the smaller and the more softer and very nice French beans actually.
The birds are jungle fowl.
So this is our
this
Kailan bed. So if you can see, we've actually done raised bed garden here. So this is pretty much 1.5 feet high. This is about 10 feet by 30 feet, 20 feet. No, no more than 20 feet, sorry, 30 feet. So it's a raised bed where we don't do much tilling.
Sorry, would you be able to repeat that? I think we lost a bit of the audio.
We actually are done with this crop of kailan. We actually top it up with our own compost again, and we grow a different crop. We don't do a lot of tilling or digging. We don't want to disrupt the microbes in the soil. We don't want to disrupt the good bacteria and the nutrients in the soil. What we do is we just top up with a bit of our own compost, and we're set to grow a different crop. Okay.
Okay, Christina, we're on the move again. Okay, where are we going next?
Okay. Do you want me to play the next video?
No, not yet, not yet.
We'll take you in and we're taking you to see more vegetables.
Right.
So this is our snake god. Easy to grow. Let's show you the other stuff.
Where are we going?
Rabbits and chickens.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions, Christina?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me go through it again. So I think on the brown paper earlier that you showed with the bitter gourds, is there a specific reason why you use the brown paper? Can they use other sort of paper?
with.
Can you hear now? Hold on.
Yeah, can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So we hardly feed them any pellets. They are all organic vegetable devourers. We started off with 3 of these bunnies here, and now we have about 35. I thought we could use them for meat, but you know, my daughter went and named each and every rabbit actually. So, but we use the bedding once everything is done. We use the bedding on our
Sorry, your audio is not clear again.
Okay, so can you hear us now?
Yeah.
We use the bedding for our compost as well. Every month we clear the top of this rabbit hutch, and we take the scraps and we actually compost them as well.
The rabbits are rare actually to naturally compost our vegetables. So they eat our vegetables, and then the poop gets into the soil and it ferments and it becomes a natural fertilizer for our vegetables. So these guys eat all the scraps, all the vegetables that we don't sell, the old bits and things like that. Yeah, natural fertilizer, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but initially it was meant for meat, but you know, we had now it's pivoted to a different idea now.
They're too cute. We can't kill them. Okay, let's meet our resident cock.
Yeah.
This guy is our show off.
Right. He's going to show off in a little while.
He was making a lot of noise just now.
You also use chicken feces as fertilizer. Is that even an option? No.
Yeah,
Right?
okay. If you look at the bed on the ground, it's made out of coconut husk. It's made out of a lot of organic material. Mm-hmm. So every month we clear out this entire bed and we put this entire bed into a composting area which we have in the farm, and that's composted while we give them a whole new bed to start off again. We had at the height of it recently, we had about 35 chickens in here, and they were all layers. So we had about 15 eggs a day coming out from the hens. Most of the layers are a bit too old, and we have slaughtered and used them for soup actually.
This is where the eggs come out from. We're waiting for a new batch of chickens, right, Michael?
Yeah.
Is that a turkey?
Yeah, we've got one turkey there. Could be in time for Christmas. I don't know.
Turkey, yes, it's a turkey. Yeah, Sarah hasn't named the chickens. We don't let her name the chickens. Okay. Otherwise, we can't eat them either.
The turkey's not been named either.
No.
So this is our bed of coriander. We grow loads of coriander on the farm.
There, okay. Next.
Someone's going to show them the peppers.
Okay, now we're going to take you to see some of our homegrown peppers. The ones over there, bigger.
So if you can see this is actually peppers which are still green. They turn yellow and red, and we harvest them, and it's actually dried, and we get our own black pepper on the farm. This is our sweet basil. Sweet basil.
Christina, do you have any questions for Michael?
Sure. So I think going through the questions here. So is aquaponics farmed vegetables as healthy and nutritious as soil farmed?
It contains it's a perfect ecosystem when you grow crops aquaponically, and it actually contains the same amount of nutrients. On soil-based vegetables, what we find that I find that we have a higher um, degree of magnesium. We've done lab tests with our soil-based and aquaponics vegetables, and we found that we get a lot more magnesium and calcium on our soil-based vegetables as opposed to our aquaponics vegetables. But in our aquaponics vegetables, we get a lot of different kinds of nutrients on the aquaponics grown vegetables as opposed to the soil-based vegetables. So that's why we have a mix of soil and aquaponics as well. We didn't go headlong into just aquaponics or just we find that aquaponics is a very sustainable way of farming, and it's something which should be promoted a bit more to people as opposed to just soil-based. The soil, I mean, once you deplete the nutrients after growing a crop, there's a bigger process for you to actually put back the nutrients into the soil and raise a different batch of plants. But with aquaponics, there's no mix of soil or no mix of nutrients. It's all you need to do is make sure the fish are fed, and you have a good number of fish to plants. That ratio has to be maintained. So it's a very easy way of farming. You don't break your back tilling and stuff like that. You just harvest and you regrow. You feed the fish. That's basically it, and you make sure the pump works. So we grow a lot of stuff. Like this is high basil. Sorry, we grow a lot of stuff on pots, using our own compost.
So if you have a small balcony space, you still can achieve this.
Yeah. So if you have good compost, you'll be able to actually grow your crops really well. I will show you in a little while what we do when we actually compost. I'll show you our eggplants.
Show them the spring onions in the bags.
Yeah. We've got loads of onions growing in poly bags here. This is our brinjal plants. These are the baby nyonya brinjals. Little nyonyas, they call. So these are also growing on bags, and they have perfect nutrients. The only thing we found is when it rains heavily and it's out in the open, they suffer, they lose out nutrients. Nutrients leach out from the bag. So I'll show you our other farm later on where we have solved that problem. This is another batch of brinjals. It matures at this size, and that's it. This is ready to be harvested. It looks small, but it's really tasty. It's great in loads of dishes, especially your dals and even in green curries. These are going to be really fantastic.
Okay.
So a lot of people have been asking on how do you actually compost. So we've actually created a small video you can actually watch right now. Christina?
All right, heading over.
Composting is actually quite simple to do at home. And all it requires is carbon, nitrogen, water, and air. A very important ratio you need to remember is 30 parts of carbon, as in this dry brown leaves, to 1 part nitrogen. And nitrogen is like your kitchen waste, fresh grass clippings, all the green stuff, coffee grounds, your onion peels and stuff like that. And this whole process of composting is actually layering nitrogen over carbon. If you have space in your garden, you can start a simple open compost system like this with wire mesh and sticks. Or you could also use a tub with a lid with holes drilled all around it. Now, if you use a tub like this, these holes are very important to let airflow in. Oxygen will help in breaking down the materials inside and will ensure your compost does not get anaerobic and stink. As mentioned, carbon is an essential part in compost making. And what we do here all the time is collect dried leaves and clippings all around and store them for a compost heap. Always start with a good layer of carbon. Then add your kitchen waste, which you may have collected for a couple of days. Put them over the layer of carbon and spread it around. Then cover with another layer of carbon. Repeat this process until you have a full heap. Add water if you find the compost is too dry. It should always be moist but not soggy. Once your pile is almost full, use a fork to aerate it. Mix it around to help it break down even further. By doing this, you're also getting more oxygen into your pile to avoid it from becoming a really stinking mess. And in a couple of months, you'll have some good, mature compost.
All right, that's pretty much how we compost here on the farm. It's called hot composting. So now I'm going to show you live on how and what we use for a great soil mix. Now, the difference between a good crop and a bad crop is not a farmer. The difference between a good crop and a bad crop is the soil mix which you use. Now, you can walk into a nursery and you find that they sell bags of soil saying that 13 different kinds of different kinds of soil and different kinds of additives in that soil. But I would urge you to actually pay attention to this, because this has brought us a lot of success on our farms. And it's very easy and it's very simple, and it's not mind-boggling. So all you need to do is, if you buy those bags of soil in the nursery, we use our own soil. This is normal garden soil which we've been using in our farms. And if you buy it from the nursery, yeah, no problem, go ahead. So this goes in. This is one lot. And next, what I'd like to add on is cocoa coir. This is coconut husks, which have been ground into powder. Add one as well. This one will hold moisture. It'll make the soil a bit more arable as well, so it doesn't compact. Mix it around, break up all those clay lumps. Next, what I would add is one quantity of compost. You can buy it from the garden shop. So if you make your own compost, keep some compost to mix for your own soil mix. So that goes into that mix as well. And you mix this thoroughly. Try to break up all these clumps, because these are the ones which actually compact the soil later.
What did you add
Next,
before the cocoa?
That was just garden soil, or the soil which you buy from the nurseries, right? Okay, the next tip is to actually add half of this quantity of vermicompost, which you can buy from the nurseries as well. So vermicompost is actually worm castings. So it's harvested, and to me, this is actually black gold, and it's one of the best fertilizers, organic fertilizers and amendments which you can use for your soil mix. So I'm going to put half of this in. So that goes into the mix. Okay, a final step. Instead of adding river sand, I will add perlite. Perlite is like Rice Krispies. It's actually expanded volcanic rock. It's very light, it's very arable, and it actually breaks down the soil for you. It actually aerates the soil for you, and it prevents it from clumping. So I add one quantity of this perlite, and I mix it all up. If you are growing fruiting vegetables like brinjals or tomatoes and stuff like that, so what I like to use is half a cup of bone meal, which you can buy from the nurseries. Blood and bone meal. This is made from chicken bones, and it's perfectly organic. There's no chemicals in this. It's just crushed bones, and this adds your potassium and your phosphorus for your fruiting plants. So if you just want to add half a cup, and you mix it all up again. So, and there you have it. This is the best soil mix. Now, if you cannot grow anything with this soil mix, I'll give you a year's worth of vegetables free. So this is what it's all about. So, okay, I'll tell you what. I've got a video made by one of our friends from Ground Control, and they are the masters of composting, about soil mix as well. Christina, can you play that?
Sure. Before that, would you be able to let us know if... never mind.
As gardeners, we often spend too much time worrying and looking what happens to plants above the ground. But where do plants get the water and nutrients they need to survive? Their roots, of course. And that is why the soil that roots sit in plays such a vital role with helping your plants to obtain the right amount of food and moisture they need to grow and thrive. Soil comes in many forms, but essentially, a good soil blend is a mix of organic matter, minerals, water, air, and millions of tiny microorganisms. One of the tricks of becoming a great gardener is to be able to take things into your own hands and mix your own soil blends. This way, you can better customize the soil to suit certain plant types and growing conditions. When it comes to mixing your own soil, there are 3 important factors to take into account. Like all living things, plants need nutrients, so we need to ensure that they have ample food in the mix. Plants need water, so we need to make sure that the soil retains enough moisture and does not dry out too quickly. Finally, most plants hate their roots to be stuck in water, so we need to ensure that water can drain out free and easily and not flood your pot or container. Let us have a look at some of the ingredients we can use to ensure that you achieve the right kind of mix for your plants and pots. For plant nutrients, you need to look no further than a good quality compost. Compost is broken down organic matter, and it works fantastically to improve soil structure. It buffers pH, increases the population of microorganisms in your soil. Essentially, it is a great feed for your plants. Compost's ability to absorb and retain water is also a bonus, especially important when planting in containers where soil tends to dry out quickly. To help with water retention, Cocoa peat is a great option. It is a renewable and sustainable product that is derived from coconut husks, which are a waste product from the coconut industry. Another option you could use is peat moss, but please be aware, this is not a sustainable resource. If you cannot find cocoa peat or peat moss, you can always go and dig up some clay-rich soil from your garden. Please remember to break it up well before you add it to your mix. To ensure you have a well-drained and aerated soil blend, there are plenty of options of materials you can choose from. One of the most practical options is river sand, the kind you get at hardware stores. It is cheap and also provides mineral additives to your mix. If you're looking for a lightweight option, you can try perlite. Perlite is a volcanic rock that has been heated at high temperatures. It is naturally filled with air. It is more expensive than sand, but it's also very long-lasting. A good mix to use as a base soil is an equal amount of compost, sand, and cocoa peat. This way, you can be sure that your plants will have a generous amount of nutrients. The soil will retain moisture, but also drain out any excess water, so there will be no flooding. Once you have your base blend, you can mix it and add to it as you like. You can add other nutrients and minerals if you think they are necessary. Worm castings, rock dust, blood and bone, the list is endless. You can also adjust the ratio of materials in your blend to suit different conditions. For instance, plants that originate from Mediterranean climates don't like so much moisture on their roots. So if you increase the sand content in your soil, it will drain better, and your rosemary plants will be much happier. Mixing your own soils can be a very fulfilling exercise, and you learn a lot about soil composition and gardening in the process. If you are already someone who is interested in gardening and potting, it's highly recommended that you give this a try.
Okay, that's a video, and I just want to introduce our our resident baker on the farm itself. So that's our farm, and this is our resident baker. And let's show you what we've been doing in our micro bakery actually.
Hi guys, my name is Ivy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this is our bakery, and we set this up about a year ago. And it's a small unit, it's a micro bakery. So we've got our workstation, our double-deck steam ovens, and these are really good machines. They're made in Malaysia. And our mixer, and we make mainly sourdough breads. That's our specialty. And we do the occasional yeast breads, but mainly sourdough because it's natural. It's completely organic, no conditioners, no preservatives, nothing. And we try and make seasonal breads with some of the ingredients that we grow on our farm. So our top seller is the jalapeno cheddar bread. So we grow our own jalapeno chilies. We pickle them and then put them in our bread. So,
Ivy, sorry, your audio is breaking a little bit.
Right.
hold on, let me get the other effort from my phone. Right? Is that better?
Yep, better now. Thank you.
Okay, great. So because 2 weeks from now is Deepavali, so we came up with this new bread. It's corianders from our farm, peppers from our farm, and we use turmeric and a few other spices to come up with this beautiful golden bread. So I think bread making is synonymous with farm life because it's just a natural byproduct of what we do on the farm and organic living. So this is the bread, and the smell is amazing, and it's all pure sourdough, and we get good crust because our starter has been around for more than a year now. And look at that, that's beautiful. Even when you cut the bread, you can already smell all the spices. We put some chilies in here that we also grow from the farm, and you can see the coriander bits in there. And so we do special things like this to actually introduce local flavors into this is essentially a European bread, but it's picked up such popularity here in Malaysia among our subscribers who are all very, very health conscious, because sourdough bread is something that is fermented, and like kimchi, it's got prebiotics, probiotics, stuff that's really good for your gut. And we're very happy in this micro bakery, and we can bake about 20 to 30 breads a day, and it's all naturally produced, all naturally fermented, and such a great way to do life. Actually, look at my bread.
That looks so good. That cross section.
It's good. It's good. It smells amazing. It smells amazing. Yeah. Cut another slice. If you're here, then I can actually toast it for you, and you can actually taste it. Look at that, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The color is from turmeric and paprika.
That's amazing. So
Beautiful.
if you want to order this, they just have to head to homegrownfarms.com.my.
So that's basically
Christina's talking. Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
Oops, sorry. So if they want, I think there are a lot of questions about ordering these things. If they want to place an order, they have to head to www.homegrownfarms.com.my. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so that's basically it. A tour of our farm.
That's great. Should we move on to some questions from the audience?
I think let's do a Q&A right now. I wanted to show you the farm at the bottom there. That's the MCO farm we were working on, but maybe in a different webinar. Or we are opening up to visitors soon, so anyone who wants to come and visit can actually look us up and connect with us.
All right. Great.
Okay.
Ready for some questions from the audience?
Yep.
Okay, so there have been a recurring theme of questions throughout the session here earlier. So a lot of people have asked, like what is the cost for you to create your farm, and because of the size and the scale of your farm, how many people are working on it? Is that something that other people can sort of achieve as well?
Okay, well, we have about 5.5 acres in total. The farm on top here is about 3 acres. The farm below there is about 2.5 acres. But the thing is, we didn't start all at once. We started bit by bit by bit. So we invested in the land when it was really cheap about 10 years ago. And if you have access to land, I would say that it's best for you to have your own land. I wanted to have my own land, so we invested in land which was cheap then, but now it's probably a bit more higher in price. But we did not start all 5 acres at one go. We started about half an acre. The farm which I showed you was the first farm. That was the proof of concept. We needed a proof of concept to be able to be confident in saying that, hey, we can grow organic vegetables for you, or for our own family as well. So we started small. So if you start small, even in a small space, but if you were to think it out, and if you were to put some thought to it, and look at the space you have, whether it's whether it's going to be soil based, or whether it's going to be vertical aquaponically based, or you need to find out. That's very important. How much space do you have? If you say I only have a balcony, then well, you can have a balcony system on your balcony, which produces food 365 days, including fish, if you want to eat the fish as well. So I would say start small. Don't have to go and look around for 5, 10, 20 acres, because it is expensive to start off a big farm, but it's not expensive to start small and grow bit by bit. So this is what we've been doing for the past 6 years. We started off very small, And then we grew, and then we grew. And over the MCO, we actually started working on that empty piece of land. So that's going to be another showpiece. It's going to be like one of those garden centers in England, and it's going to sell plants, it's going to sell food, we're going to have a cafe, we're going to have a wood fire pizza oven as well. So it's going to be a mix and match of, a lot of different things, but vegetables can be harvested directly to the kitchen, and it's going to be a farm to table kind of an experience. But at the same time, we're working on decentralized farms on the rooftops of buildings. Places like Komune Wellness and Living has actually are working with us, and we are working with them to actually build a rooftop farm on their development. That's great, because we are bringing the farm to the people now. And we have some other projects lined up, especially with UOA. It's a huge farm. We're going to build on an acre plot of land in Bamboo Hills. So that's something I'm really excited about. So the trick here is to actually start small.
Okay. So going on that note, right? So what are some of the ways that people can start, especially for those who don't necessarily live on landed properties? What are some of the ideas or tips on how to get started?
Very simple. Grow in pots. It's manageable. It's easier. But when you grow in pots, make sure your watering regime is accurate, and you need to water plants in pots. That's very important. They don't have this whole mass of soil where they can actually draw up moisture from. But if you start growing in pots, you've seen us growing chilies, you've seen us growing brinjals and eggplants, you've seen us growing herbs in pots. I'm a firm believer in growing in pots because you can actually move them anytime you want to, and you can make space for other crops as well. Start growing in pots. You've already got the secret to a good soil mix. So that's all you need.
That's great. Is there any alternative to using fish for aquaponics?
You see, there are two ways of looking at it. There's the hydroponics and the aquaponics. So when you talk about hydroponics, you're using chemical nutrients. There are two kinds of nutrients, A and B, which is in liquid form, which is then put into the tank, as opposed to rearing fish in aquaponics. So we stayed away from hydroponics because we didn't want to put any added chemically based nutrients to fertilize our plants. So what we did was I researched, and I found that aquaponics was also a way to grow soilless. So if you don't want to use fish, you can actually look into hydroponics. It's a similar but very different way of farming. It's also water-based, but using chemically based nutrients as opposed to having a natural ecosystem using fish.
Okay, great. So there are actually a couple of questions on the live soil mix session that you did earlier. So
All right, okay.
a lot of people are asking if a vermicompost is something that they can get from nurseries, because there is a guy from JB who said that they're not able to get it readily available.
Oh, nowadays are sold in smaller bags. But what we do is we have a small wormery down there in one of our in our farm across the road. But you can actually buy them in bigger bags. All you need to do is search for vermicompost on Google. There are a lot of suppliers who actually supply farms. We get them in big quantities, but what I found was that even our nursery down the road here actually sells vermicompost in small bags. I think it's about 5 ringgit a bag. So if you still can't get any vermicompost, email us and I'll send you some.
All right. So I think other than using perlites, do you think you would be able to swap that with using crushed eggshells, or can eggshells at all be used in the soil mix?
Okay, the thing is, eggshells is pretty much calcium. So calcium is a very much needed component in your farming as well, especially if you're growing tomatoes and brinjals as well. So if you crush eggshells and put them in the soil, it's a very long what do you call that? Long drawn process for the calcium to actually be taken up by the plants. We use normally calcium powder, which is also organic. Eggshells are good to be added into the compost because it breaks down and it adds calcium to the plants. But it doesn't do what perlite does or what river sand does. We use perlite. I use perlite in the mix, even in our big beds as well. We buy commercial grade perlite in big bags. It's to make sure that the soil is permeable. It's aerated and it does not clump. Once you have this kind of whether it's river sand or whether it's perlite in your soil mix, you can be sure that your soil is not going to clump and not going to constrict the roots of your plants.
Okay, that's a great tip. So how do you increase the rate of germination?
How do you increase okay, very simple. You need to get good seeds. Some of the seeds which you buy from the supermarkets and the nurseries have been sitting on the shelves for a very long time. So chances of germination is going to be close to zero if you get anything up. But you need to find a good seed distributor. There are lots of agri shops which sell seeds. Email us and I'll give you our contacts for a fantastic seed distributor based in Damansara. They've got all the seeds you actually need to grow your stuff, and their seeds have a germination rate of about 98%. Another very important thing when you are planting seeds, you need to sieve the soil. You need very fine, sort of a dust kind of consistency for you to be able to germinate seeds properly. And use seed trays, or use trays, and make sure it's watered properly.
Okay. So I think the rest of the questions are okay. So here's another one. Hi, Michael. For our climate, do you mulch your crops to add further water retention and heat protection?
Yes, for our climate, we do a lot of woodworking here, so we get a lot of wood dust, and we get a lot of excess pieces or small pieces of wood. We've got coconuts, and we actually use coconut husk to mulch as well. That is very important because it prevents the evaporation of the soil from your evaporation of the water from your soil. So it's a very good idea for you to mulch. But on our bigger beds, we actually buy wood chips from people like DBKL and your city council. They would have some stock of wood chips because they go around cutting trees and stuff like that. And all that is actually made into wood chips, and it's sold actually. So if you can contact your council, you can find a way to get some wood chips if you have a larger scale farm.
Okay. Moving on, from a question from Nancy Ng. Is it safe to grow produce in plastic and fiberglass containers? And do we need to drill holes on the 4x8 fiberglass containers for drainage?
Fiberglass containers. We don't really grow vegetables in fiberglass containers. What we do is we try to get food grade containers, like those cake containers, even stuff which you buy from the supermarkets, like your yogurt buckets and stuff like that. Those are food grade containers. For fiberglass, we only use fiberglass pretty much for our fish, or fish tank.
Okay. Sorry, final question. Do you conduct training for those interested in urban farming?
Yes, we are actually going to open up our workshop for urban farming. We have a workshop for aquaponics, how to build your own aquaponic system at home based on what kind of size you're looking at. We're going to have soil-based farming workshops. We're going to have container farming workshops as well. So that's something which we really want to start doing. It was hampered by this 2 years of this virus, but things seem to be opening up. And because this is a bubble, all our workers have already been double vaccinated as well. So I want to keep this place as safe as possible, because we are actually distributing vegetables from this place every week. So I want this place to be safe. But as and when more people are double vaccinated, and cases are coming down, as we can see, we definitely want to open up. Having a farm like this, it's actually really great to have interaction and to have that community come together and to actually work together and to learn a bit more. We are here to actually serve the community. It's not like we want to keep this a big secret and keep it all to ourselves and we just sell vegetables. No, if you can grow more, then it's going to be so much easier for the general public actually.
Yeah, for sure. So that everybody has food all year round, right?
Exactly.
Great. So I think that's all the questions that we have today. We have also
Right.
kind of run over time. So what I'm going to do
Okay.
is to kind of quickly display the ongoing Deepavali promo that Homegrown Farms has. So this
Right.
is a set of, if I'm remembering correctly, it is the Rustam sourdough bread with a couple of dips and spreads.
It comes with a cutting board as well, a cheese board, and it comes with a crate which is made on the farm as well.
Great. So anybody who's interested, please reach out to Homegrown Farms to put in your orders. Deepavali is in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Great. I guess that wraps up our question and answer as well today. I hope that everybody had an enjoyable time going through the farm. I know that we're not yet. There was some like instances of choppy video and audio, and we're really sorry about that. But I hopefully we will get to visit Homegrown Farms soon once everybody's just double vaccinated. So thank you so much, Michael and Ivy, for the enlightening presentation and tour, and for taking us through some of the questions. We hope the information provided here today has been beneficial to all of you. The slides, I know we don't have a lot of information on it, but we can send it to you after the event.
Oh, they loved it, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And you can access a recording of the webinar on our website and social media platforms at the end of the month, where you can also learn more about commune living and wellness. Make sure to also check out our next session happening on Monday with our happiness coach, Greta Kessa. Registration is still open. There are a couple of other sessions throughout the week as well. Don't forget to also fill out the post-event form right after this, where you will stand a chance to win a free one-night stay with breakfast at Commune Living Bangsa South, or F&B vouchers to be used at Commune Cafe Bangsa South. Until then, thank you so much, everybody, and have a great weekend. Stay safe.
Ravi's been trying to call her.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Hey, Tracy! What are you doing here?
Wow, chị bắt suy liao.
Thank you.
What have you been doing?
I show you my secret place.
Begin your senior living journey with us. Let's live a happier, healthier life together.